At my housewarming party, my mom raised her glass and said, "To my son, who stole his brother's future." She smiled, then left. Everyone just stood there, music playing, pizza half-eaten, beer still foaming. I stared at the front door still, swinging open. That wasn't a joke. That was a declaration of war. And I was already losing. I didn't expect to be betrayed at my own front door. I'm reeling. 30, robotics technician. Just bought my first house on the outskirts of Pine Hollow, Missouri. Brick, slightly slanted porch. 3 bedrooms. A yard. Big enough to bury the past. I fought for this place. Starved for it. Lost sleep, teeth, and friends for it. And now it might kill me. I wasn't supposed to succeed. Not in my family. I started working at 15. Mopped dentist offices. Installed ductwork in July heat with 110 degrees Fahrenheit inside those metal boxes. Slept in a van once, save everything. Ate beans and dollar menu tacos for years. Woke up with frost on my car ceiling during night shifts. Why? Because I wanted out of the suffocating family expectations. My brother Conrad, he was the golden goose, 2 years younger. Never worked a single day. My parents fed him dreams and handed him credit cards. He's an artist, they'd say. When he failed out of NIDA, he's sensitive. When he got kicked out of 2 apartments, he just needs time. Well, I needed AirDot, so I left. I put down $65,000 for a modest duplex. Every dollar I made, no cosigners, no favors. Just me and a crumpled dream I finally unwrapped. I invited 10 people to my housewarming. Just 10. Close friends. 2 coworkers. My best friend Rhea, and, unfortunately, my parents. I should have known better. The night was going well. Laughter, slices of greasy pizza. Mosquitoes dancing under porch lights. Then my mom tapped her cup with a fork. Everyone turned. I just want to say, "I'm proud of Rylan," she said slowly. Her voice trembled. "But I'm also heartbroken." I froze. Heartbroken? She looked directly at me, then at everyone else. He knew this house was supposed to be for Conrad. Dead silence. Even the crickets stopped. She kept going, her voice rising. Conrad has been waiting, planning for this exact place. And now Rylan swoops and and buys it out from under him? What the hell? My brother stood behind her, head down, arms crossed, like a toddler after getting scolded. "I didn't steal anything," I said quietly. "Didn't you?" she snapped. "You knew what it meant to the family." I looked around, my pulse thudding. "Y'all are kidding, right?" "No," my dad said, stepping forward, calm as a priest. "We believe in fairness, son. You're successful. You could have waited." I laughed, hard, the kind of laugh that gets stuck in your throat and turns into a growl. Waited? For what? For Conrad to become a real adult. I've been saving for this since I was a teenager. Mom's smile dropped. "You're being selfish." There was selfish.me, who they left behind while they flew to Paris with Conrad on his inspiration trip. I kicked them out. My mother muttered, ungrateful. As she stepped off the porch, Conrad dumped his beer into my flower bed and yelled, "This isn't over." He was right, because the next morning, I got a call. Block number. "Mr. Aldrin," a sharp voice said, "we're calling on behalf of the Bay County Family Civil Division. You've been named in a domestic property dispute. You're listed as the defendant." "What?" "The claim involves contested ownership of a residence purchased on May 14th, filed by Mitch and Darla Aldrin, with Conrad Aldrin as the named recipient." I sat on my kitchen floor. "No, that's a mistake. I bought that house." "I didn't." Hear her response. Blood roared in my ears. 3 days later, I got the court papers. Certified envelope. Sealed with legal arrogance. Petition for familial restitution and property redistribution. Their claim? That they invested emotionally and financially in my development, and thus deserved a return. That Conrad's future had been usurped by my sudden, aggressive home acquisition. That I owed them for raising me and should transfer the deed to Conrad. Immediately, they included receipts. Literal receipts. A grocery bill from 2007, my Little League enrollment form, a photo of Conrad sitting on the porch, my porch, with the caption, "He belongs there." I called my dad. "This is insane." He sighed. "You don't understand. Son, this isn't about ownership. It's about responsibility." I felt my throat burn. "You think I owe you for existing? We gave you life, Rylan. Now it's time you gave back." Then came the kicker. Mom emailed me a settlement offer. Give Conrad the house, pay the mortgage another 24 months, apologize publicly, and pay $11,000 in emotional damages. The subject line? Rebuild our family. I didn't reply. Instead, I started digging, and what I found next made my stomach turn. I hadn't slept in 2 days. My hands were trembling as I clicked through the court filing PDF for the 100th time. Every line felt more absurd. Requested restitution of familial emotional investment. Reallocation of property due to sibling hardship. I kept looking for the hidden camera, but this wasn't a prank. It was a coordinated attack. So I did what I do best. I researched, I dug deep. Property law, self-representation, small claims, family disputes. And then I found something that made my stomach drop. My parents didn't hire a lawyer. My uncle did. Uncle Garrett, my dad's brother. We hadn't spoken in 10 years, not since I told him he couldn't park his uninsured trailer on my old rental lawn. He once threatened to sue me over a broken cooler at a barbecue. And now? He'd passed the bar 2 years ago after being fired from 3 separate jobs. This was his first case. He was using me as target practice. That's when it clicked. This wasn't just about the house. This was about control. Conrad had posted another photo, a selfie in front of a paint-splattered canvas, captioned, "The future is finally mine. My studio is almost ready. Manifestation works." That canvas? I zoomed in. It was the wall of my garage. He'd been inside my house. I checked my security cam feed. Sure enough, 2 nights ago, 2:43 a.m. Conrad's car rode up. He used the key, let himself in, stayed for 17 minutes. Looked around, filmed himself, left. I froze. That meant they still had a copy of my old key, the spare. I'd given my parents back when I was crashing in their guest room 3 years ago. I changed my locks the same night, but it didn't stop. The next day I got a Facebook notification. A public post from my mother. Some children forget where they came from. They value money over family. We raised a stranger. Pray for our Conrad. His artistic future was stolen. Hundreds of comments. Neighbors, distant relatives, old teachers. Some called me ungrateful. Others just piling all their prayer hands and Bible verses. Then came the media post, a puff piece in our local Pine Hollow Families magazine. Local artist fights legal battle for his rightful home. The article quoted my own mother, calling me financially manipulative and emotionally abusive. It mentioned anonymous sources. Please, it was clearly them who claimed I bought the house purely out of spite to hurt my brother's future. I almost punched the drywall. Instead, I printed it out, highlighted every lie. That weekend, I got a call from Rhea. "You okay?" "No," I whispered. "They're spinning the entire town against me," she exhaled. "You're gonna have to fight dirtier." "Dirtier how?" "Tell the real story, all of it." So I started writing. I posted anonymously on Reddit, titled it, "My parents are suing me for buying a house because my brother wanted it." Within 24 hours, it exploded. Thousands of comments. People validating me, lawyers offering free tips. Even a few horror stories worse than mine. But one DM changed everything. From someone named Bria Whitmore, paralegal. "I used to intern for your uncle. Be careful. He likes to push family buttons. He'll dig up old records, medical, school, anything. He plays dirty. And he's been telling people this case will make him famous." I felt cold all over. We're turning this into theater. 2 nights later, I heard a knock. I checked the doorbell. Cam Conrad, holding something. I stayed quiet. He knocked again, then crouched and slipped a letter through the door crack. I waited 10 minutes before opening it. It was handwritten, scribbled like a madman. "We can settle this without court. Give me the upstairs half. You can keep the basement and driveway. You'll even get visitation rights for the yard. If you agree by Friday, I'll tell Mom to drop the media stuff." I stared at it for a full minute, then laughed out loud. Visitation rights? For my own yard? This wasn't delusion anymore. It was psychological warfare. I texted my lawyer friend in St. Louis. He offered to help file a temporary restraining order. I accepted. But that wasn't the end. The next morning, I found red chalk writing on my driveway. "A house without family is just bricks." That night, I installed motion sensor floodlights, a ring cam, and bought a baseball bat. This wasn't just a family feud anymore. It was turning into a siege. In court. Court was only a week away. I arrived at the courthouse early. Gray suit, folder in hand. Evidence packed tight like a fist. My stomach was a hurricane. The courtroom doors opened at 8:12 a.m. They walked in like they were the cast of some twisted reality show. My mother in pearls. My father gripping a manila folder like it contained the Holy Grail. Conrad? Wearing a fur-lined leather coat and dark sunglasses indoors. Behind them, my uncle, Garrett, the self-declared lawyer, hair slicked back. Smug smirk. As if this was the trial of the century. He winked at me. I wanted to throw up. The bailiff called the case. Aldrin v. Aldrin. Petition for property reallocation. The judge looked bored, mid-40s, no-nonsense expression. Her nameplate read, Hun, Vanessa Keene. Garrett stood first. Voice loud, dramatic, like he was auditioning for Law and Order. Your Honor, this is not a case about greed. It's about family betrayal, a son who disregarded emotional debts, a brother robbed of his rightful opportunity. He opened the binder, labeled Exhibit A inside, a freaking baby photo. Of me, this child, he boomed, was raised with love, funded by hard-working parents, and now he claims that love meant nothing. He waved the photo like it was a murder weapon. Judge blinked. Is this your opening argument? He nodded proudly. She sighed. Proceed. Then came the parade of absurdity. They submitted grocery bills from 2002. Conrad's application to art school denied. My second-grade math award, a receipt. For a trampoline for my 10th birthday party, labeled as emotional investment asset. Then my mom took the stand. She cried. Full performance. We supported him. We gave him everything. And now he leaves us for a duplex? My dad added. He's always been distant, cold. He once refused to buy Conrad an iPad. The judge turned to Garrett. Where is the legal claim? So far I've seen nostalgia, not evidence. Garrett smirked. Your Honor, we argue that due to familial moral equity, my clients are entitled to shared ownership of the house in question. And legal precedent? He paused. Your Honor, if I may, cite the case of U. H. Baxter v. Baxter, 1994. The judge raised an eyebrow. That was a divorce case over a parrot. Still relevant themes. She rolled her eyes. Then it was my turn. I stood, calm, clenched, tired. Your Honor, I said, this is a house I bought. With my money, my savings. I owe them nothing. I handed her bank statements, wire transfers, the mortgage deed, my employment history. I included a timeline of when I left home. Age 17, filed taxes independently ever since. No financial ties. The judge nodded. Clear and organized. Garrett tried to object. But Your Honor, he has no emotional defense. She narrowed her eyes. That's not a legal term. Then Conrad was called. He swaggered up, sunglasses still on. Mr. Aldrin, the judge began, do you currently have a job? I'm a creator, he said proudly. Income? He paused. I'm in a branding phase. So, no. He turned to his lawyer. Mr. Aldrin, she continued, why do you believe you're entitled to the house? He leaned forward. Because I feel it's mine. The room went silent. I've dreamed of that house for years, he said. That attic, perfect for recording. The backyard, I saw my vision there, and he stole it. I nearly laughed. You broke in, Conrad. That was artistic scouting. The judge leaned back, completely stunned. My mother shouted from the bench. You don't understand what it means to have a creative soul. That's when the circus exploded. The judge slammed her gavel. Order! Garrett stood up again now, sweating. Your Honor, I propose a compromise. Ryland keeps the house legally, but Conrad is granted living access to the top floor for 10 years with yard rights on Sundays. I gawked. That's not a settlement. That's an eviction plan. My dad stood. We can't survive if our boys hate each other. Force them to share for the family. Then my mother sobbed again. He's choosing brick over blood. The judge stood. All of you, sit down. Everyone froze. She looked at me. Mr. Ryland Aldrin, your documents check out. You own the home outright. No one else's name appears. You were not gifted or subsidized. This is your legal property. She turned to them. As for the plaintiffs, this is not how the law works. Parenthood is not a loan. Dreams are not deeds. This case is dismissed. Gavel slam. Just like that, it was over. But the aftermath had only begun. My mother screamed. Literally screamed. You ruined everything. Conrad muttered. This isn't the end. I'll get it back. Garrett, he looked delighted. Like he didn't care about winning. Like this whole thing had been a game. They stormed out. I sat there for 5 full minutes, still holding my folder, breathing, sweating, and shaking, because deep down I knew this wasn't the last time I'd see them. And I was right. I thought court was the end dot. It wasn't dot, it was the spark, because 2 days later I woke up to find my fence smashed in. Not a random hit, no tire tracks. Just the boards kicked apart, one by one, and in red spray paint across the siding. Still, hours, I stood there barefoot, heart pounding. Camera footage? Corrupted. Someone had yanked the wires. I filed a police report. Nothing immediate they could do. Could be vandalism. Could be family, the officer said flatly. Either way, you should consider cameras with backup cloud sync. Then came the email from Conrad. You may have won the case, but you'll never feel at home in that house. You built it on betrayal. Hope it keeps you warm. I stared at it, then forwarded it to my lawyer. But that wasn't the twist dot, no. Twist came from the inside, because Rhea, my best friend, called me 3 days later, her voice shaking. Rylan, I don't know how to say this. What? Your cousin? Emery? She's been feeding your mom information. Screenshots of your Reddit post, text, everything. I went still.emery, the one I vented to late at night. The one who told me she was so done with the family favoritism. The one I trusted. Why? She's dating Conrad. Everything flipped sideways. She'd been planting questions. Asking about my security system. About court timelines. Asking if I'd ever considered selling the house after all. I couldn't. Breathe. You're sure? I whispered. She posted a pic of them. Caption said, sometimes love means fighting battles that aren't yours. Worth it. My vision blurred with rage. She was in my house just last month, on my couch, drinking my beer. Smiling like family. Now she was the leak. I texted her, you working for them? She replied in 12 seconds. I just wanted to help both sides. You were being so cold. I blocked her, then checked my living window. The screen had been sliced neatly at the bottom corner. Not enough to enter, but enough to peek in. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak felt like footsteps. Every shadow looked like Conrad. Installed more cameras, bolted the back door. Bought a motion-activated alarm, but paranoia doesn't need facts to grow. It just needs cracks, and my trust had cracked wide open. Then came the GoFundMe, started by Conrad. Titled, Help Me Reclaim My Stolen Home. The description? My brother manipulated the legal system to steal what was morally mine. I was supposed to inherit that home to build an art collective. Now I'm living in a moldy basement while he sips beer in my future. I reported it. So did dozens of others. It stayed up for 6 days. Raised $814 from strangers and nosy neighbors. My mom shared it on Facebook with a caption, sometimes the courts get it wrong. But truth always wins. I didn't respond, but the story spread. A local radio station covered it. The Battle of Bay County, a segment where they read anonymized court transcripts with voice actors. My mother was portrayed like a saint. I was the cold-blooded tech bro. People started whispering at the grocery store. The mailman wouldn't make eye contact. Then one day I came home from work. Found a cardboard box on my doorstep. Inside, a brick wrapped in a copy of my Reddit post. With a sticky note, Reddit can't protect you. I installed floodlights the next morning. 2 days after that, someone slashed my tires. All 4. And still ... no one had been caught. The final straw? A voicemail from my dad. Son, he said, this doesn't have to go on forever. You can still fix this. Just transfer the house to Conrad. We'll forgive everything. He paused. Or don't. But if you think we're done, you're wrong. You'll never sleep again without knowing we're out there. That was it. The twist wasn't that they lost the case. The twist was they decided to make their own rules. And in their rules, I was the villain. I'd had enough warnings. Enough silence. Enough letting them act like this was still a family spat and not a coordinated campaign of harassment. They wanted war? Fine. I filed for a restraining order. Included the brick, the voicemail, the spray paint, the screenshots of Conrad's GoFundMe, lies, and my father's threats. My lawyer helped me build a thick case file thicker than my mortgage folder. The judge issued a temporary protective order within 48 hours. But I wasn't done. I sent a cease and desist letter to Conrad and my parents with notarized documentation. of defamation and harassment. I reported the GoFundMe for fraudulent fundraising. I filed a formal complaint with the local station that aired the radio segment, attaching the full court ruling proving their narrative was a lie. I wasn't fighting feelings anymore. I was fighting facts. Then, a lucky break. The GoFundMe platform took the campaign offline pending investigation. I woke up to see the words, "This fundraiser has been removed for violating our terms." I grinned for the first time in weeks. It only got better. Emery, the cousin who betrayed me, got dumped by Conrad, publicly on social media. He posted a video, caption, "Cutting out the snakes. No fake love." She commented, "Wow." Then, deleted her account. Poetic justice? Not quite. But it helped. More satisfying was the email I got from a woman named Cynthia Graves. She worked for the arts nonprofit Conrad applied to last year. "I've been reading the Reddit thread," she wrote. "We're reevaluating several testimonials used in past applications, including his. Turned out, he'd falsified a letter of recommendation from a professor who had never even taught him. The nonprofit launched a formal inquiry. His entire online profile vanished the next day. Then came the blow that shook them. My mother's church tight-knit, proud, judgmental got hold of my Reddit post. Not just the sanitized one, the full thread with attachments. With evidence, one of the deacons used to be a public notary. She recognized the timestamp mortgage papers. Said so. Suddenly, my mother's prayer circle stopped sharing her Facebook rants. Her group chats went quiet. Their version of moral high ground collapsed. I heard from Rhea 2 days later. "You broke them." "I didn't want to," I said. "You didn't do it to them. They did it to themselves." But I still couldn't sleep because I wasn't just fighting back. I was preparing for something worse. Something bigger. Because 2 weeks after the protective order, I noticed something new. Someone was following me. Not just once. 3 separate times. Same red hatchback. Parked across from my job. Showed up behind me at the hardware store. Circled the block near my gym. I logged every incident. Wrote down plates. Filed a police report. Turns out, the car was registered to a freelance videographer who worked with Garrett, my uncle. They were trying to build a smear campaign. A documentary. Garrett had pitched the idea as a true crime domestic saga about property and bloodlines. I couldn't believe it. They were turning this into entertainment. A trailer even leaked on YouTube. A shaky clip of Conrad walking past my fence. A voiceover. What happens when one man's greed destroys a family's legacy? Over 3,000 views in 2 days. Was done being quiet. I sent takedown notices. Copyright claims. Invasion of privacy letters. And then, I wrote my own post. Not anonymous. Not vague. Titled, "My parents sued me for my house, then stalked me. This is what they don't want you to know." I included redacted court documents. Photos of the vandalism. Screenshots. Every lie countered. Every threat. Documented. It went viral. National viral. Thousands of comments. Strangers offering legal tips, donations. I refused. And even job offers. I didn't need money. I needed truth. And now the truth was everywhere. Conrad deleted all his platforms. Garrett's documentary channel was hit with 5 separate legal complaints and demonetized. My parents? Publicly humiliated. The irony. They didn't want justice. They wanted attention. Now they had it, but not the way they planned. It all ended with a chair. Not a courtroom. Not a fistfight. Not a dramatic scream in the rain. Just a chair. Specifically my front porch chair. Hurled through my living room window at 3:17 a.m. I wasn't home, because by then I'd moved out. House wasn't safe anymore. Not with the drive-bys. Not with the stalker for hire documentary crew. Not after I found my dog's food dish poisoned on the porch one morning. Yeah? That happened. Luna survived. Thank God. But that was it. I packed up. Moved in with Rhea while the restraining order extension process. Set the cameras to record. Every angle. Every hour. So when the chair flew, it was caught in full HD. Garrett's truck. Conrad at the wheel. My mother in the passenger seat. 3 idiots. 1 felony. They shattered my window. Shouted something about a reckoning, then drove off laughing. But the footage? I uploaded it within 10 minutes. Titled the clip, "Family Values, Breaking and Entering with Mom." It hit 10,000 views by morning. Another 5 by noon. The cops knocked on their door that same night. Charges: vandalism, trespassing, destruction of private property. But wait, there's more, because they weren't just dumb, they were sloppy. In Garrett's truck they found a printed script labeled Act 3, House of Regret. The chair throw was planned, scripted, part of their DIY documentary. They were arrested. All three. I watched the mugshots come out like it was Christmas morning. Then the local news aired the story. They used my footage, replayed it with commentary. The anchor actually chuckled and said, "Not exactly a Hallmark ending." Social media exploded. The final nail? Their church kicked them out, publicly. A statement from the deacon board: "We cannot endorse repeated malicious behavior, especially against one's own children." Even the town paper ran a follow-up. From lawsuit to loss, the family that sued their son into isolation. And me? I moved back into the house 2 weeks later, fixed the window, repainted the siding, planted new vegetables in the backyard. I thought I'd cry walking back in, but I didn't. Just breathed. Because the ghost of who I used to be, the son they tried to own, was gone. That kid died the day they sued me. Now. I had the keys to my life. My uncle lost his license to practice law. My parents tried to appeal the protective order and were denied. Twice Conrad disappeared online completely. Last I heard, he applied to be a barista in a strip mall 20 miles out of town. The kind of place where no one recognizes your face or your last name. And me? I kept building. The house became more than a home. It became my fortress. I hosted friends, cooked big Sunday breakfasts. Rhea moved in for a while. We laughed so hard one night, we got a noise complaint. It was the best sound I'd ever heard. Put in new locks, reinforced the gate. Not because I was scared anymore, because I'd earned the right to be safe. I even put that broken porch chair back together. Sanded it, painted it jet black, bolted it to the porch as a warning. A reminder of everything I endured, of everything they lost. People still ask me, "Do you talk to your parents?" No. They wrote me a letter. Said they regret how things escalated. Said they never meant for it to go that far. Said they miss me. But they never said they were wrong. And that tells me everything. So I burned the letter, literally. Tossed it in my backyard fire pit and watched the words curl into ash. Because some families break. Some families betray. And some families? They try to steal your future, brick by brick. But I'm still here, still standing. And the house they tried to take, it never felt more like home. Final line. They thought I stole something from them. But I didn't steal anything. I just refused to give it away. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next adventure.